guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you my recipe for my oxtail stew. It's a very easy recipe to do and a very forgiving recipe, as all stews are. This is the sort of food that I really crave at this time of year when the weather begins to change, the evenings are beginning to draw in. It's just something so heartwarming and soothing about a big bowl of stew. And this is great because it's cheap. It will cover many meals. You can chop it and change it a little to make it stretch further. It freezes very well, so that is another reason I always make it in a very large batch. It does take a long time to cook, as with all the cheaper cuts of meat. They do require the longer, slower cooking, but that's not an issue. I can get on with this in the morning, and if I'm going out, I'll pop it into the slow cooker, and then when I come home, dinner's pretty much ready to go. Or when I'm in the house at the weekend and I can potter about in the kitchen, I pop it into the oven, and a few hours later, it's ready. The oven does all the work. So first up, we'll talk about the oxtail. So as you can see, it is the tail, and you will get some small pieces at the end. Don't worry, these may not have much meat on them, but they'll add tons of flavour. So you'll have to go to a butcher's for this, but it is so worth it. This is such old-fashioned cooking. It's a cut we don't really use anymore, but let's make that change. So I need to get some heat on under my pan. I've got some plain flour here, not very much. Good pinch of salt, and the same of coarse black pepper. Give that a quick shake up. And I'm going to add the oxtail into this Ziploc bag. This way it just makes my flour go that bit further and coats everything. This is a huge big bag. I really do make this in big batches. Give it a good shake about to get it all coated in that seasoned flour. That's it. And I just want about 2 tablespoons of oil. The pot's good and hot. Don't dump all the meat in at once, otherwise it will braise and you won't get any caramelization, and that's a whole flavour step missed out on. So even these little bits, in they go. So that won't take too long, a few minutes each side. Just let it sit, let it really caramelize. Don't worry, it won't burn. And while I'm waiting on that, I'm going to get on with some of the vegetables, chopping them up. Ready to go in. Switch the heat down to a low heat now, and the vegetables we chopped up, in they go. So that's onion and celery there. Stir that about. Try and pick up any of those bits that are stuck to the bottom. It's all flavour. And with my carrot, I like it really like big chunks like this. Don't cut the carrot too fine because you want the carrot to be visible in the end. You don't want it to melt into the stew. And then I have 3 cloves of garlic. I'll just grate those in with a fine grater. So you just want to cook this for, the vegetables don't need to be cooked fully through. I just want it so the onions are slightly translucent and the garlic in that is softened and mellowed. And if you feel your pan needs it as well, you can add a little bit more oil before you add the vegetables. Mine didn't need it. Next, I want a whole bottle of wine. Just add a little bit at first and give a good spritz about the bottom of the pan to make sure all those bits of caramelization come up, because that is all flavour. And whack my heat up to high again, and then with the rest of the wine. I have 2 cans of chopped tomatoes, and there you go. A tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce. This adds real flavour. But guys, again, don't get too hung up with the stew here. If you haven't got it in, it will be absolutely fine without it. 2 bay leaves, and then I have some thyme here that I'm just going to strip the leaves off of the stalks. And that goes, thyme is really my favourite herb ever. Just give that a quick stir together and return the meat to the pan. And this is ready now to go into the oven, into a 160-degree oven. And you want to leave it in there for quite a long time until the meat is really tender and falling off the bone. Stew's had its time in the oven, and I've left it for about 40 minutes out of the oven just to cool down, and just want to get all this caramelized bits and that bits all stuck around the rim. That's all flavour as well. Push it down into the sauce. This next step, I'm going to glove up. I just want to transfer the meat to a plate. Now, of course, you can skip this step if you don't mind eating the meat off the bones. Then you can go right ahead and eat this straight away, just as it is. But when you have some picky eaters that don't like to eat from the bone, it's worth doing this. So we didn't go too hard on the seasoning at the beginning, so I'm going to season quite generously now. Let's give that a quick mix and taste for seasoning. A tiny bit more salt. That's it. So it's just a matter of, you can see there how easily now the meat comes away from the bone. The merest push and it comes loose. So just do this, remove all the meat from your bones and add it back to the pot. And that, guys, is my oxtail stew. This is the most unctuous stew I have ever eaten, and it is really, honestly, it is worth every moment of effort, even though really the oven does all the work. Anyways, I've been very patient, so now I think I deserve a taste. It is everything I hoped it would be. This is exactly the sort of food I want when I'm sick or just on a cold day. So I'm going to serve it with a big bowl of creamy mashed potatoes. is I hope you've enjoyed this recipe. For the full recipe, please check the description box below, where you'll find a link to my website for a full and printable version of the recipe. I hope you'll give this video a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought of the video and the recipe. And guys, thanks for watching.